So, what's the real measure of a product success? I mean, really, it's not the initial hype. It's not how many people download it on day one. Nope. The true test, the thing that separates a flash in the pan from a business that lasts, is whether people keep coming back. Today, we're going to break down exactly how to measure and, more importantly, understand repeat usage.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with why this is so critical. Then, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what you should actually be measuring. From there, we'll dive into the story behind the numbers, figure out what good even looks like, and wrap up with an actionable plan you can use to improve. Let's do this. Okay, first things first, why should we be so obsessed with repeat usage? It's so easy to get caught up in the thrill of chasing new users, right? But think about it. A product that only gets first-time visitors is like a leaky bucket. You're pouring all this effort in, and the value just drains right out. The real win is long-term engagement. This is the one question you need to keep asking yourself over and over. Is your product just a fun novelty people try once, or has it actually become an essential part of their day? That stickiness is the ultimate sign that you've built something that truly matters to people. You know, I like to think of growth as having two different engines. You've got acquisition, which is all about getting people in the door. It's flashy, it's exciting. But then you've got retention. That's the engine that actually keeps the whole thing running. It's the proof that your product is solving a real, nagging problem for your users. Here's a super simple way to think about it. Imagine a new restaurant opens up. It could have a massive line out the door on opening night, right? But that doesn't guarantee success. The real question is, are those people coming back next week and the week after? That's what turns a hot new spot into a neighborhood institution. Your product works the exact same way.
Okay, so now that we're all on the same page about why this matters so much, let's switch gears and talk about the what. Because if you want to improve stickiness, you gotta know which dials to watch. Let's pop open the hood and look at the essential toolkit.
These right here, these are your product's vital signs. They tell you so much more than just a simple visitor count. We're talking about daily and monthly active users, your retention rate over different time periods, and how often people are actually coming back to use your product. This is where the real story is. Now, one of the most powerful but sometimes misunderstood metrics is the DAU to MAU ratio. It sounds technical, but it's actually super simple. It just answers one question. Of all the people who used my product this month, what chunk of them are using it literally every day? It's a fantastic health check for daily habit formation.
And this is where that ratio gets really interesting. It paints a super clear picture. If your DAU/MAU ratio is dipping below 10%, that's a red flag. It's a sign that users aren't finding a strong enough reason to come back daily. But if you're hitting above 20%, whoa, now you're talking. That's a healthy, sticky product with a solid core of devoted users. Okay. So while DAU/MAU gives us that daily snapshot, we also need to look at the long game. And that's where retention rate comes in. This tells you if your product has real lasting power. Are the people who signed up a month ago still around, or did they vanish after a week? Looking at this at day 7, day 30, even day 90, that gives you the real picture of long-term value. So, numbers are absolutely crucial. But let's be real, they only tell you what is happening. They can't tell you why. And the why is where the magic is. To really get the full picture, we have to go deeper and uncover the human story behind all that data. This is all about looking at behavior. Are people just logging in and logging out, or are they actually using the key features that make your product special? Are they renewing their subscriptions without even thinking about it? These actions are huge signals that your product isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. And this right here, this is the holy grail. This is what you're aiming for. When you start hearing your users say things like this, you know you've nailed it. Your product isn't just a tool anymore. It's woven into the very fabric of their life or work. That's powerful stuff. So here's the bottom line. You have to talk to your users. Seriously. Your analytics can tell you that a user renewed their subscription. But a 5-minute conversation can tell you they renewed because your product saves them an hour of headaches every single day. That why is pure gold. All right, so we've covered what to measure and why it's so important to dig into the story behind the numbers. But how do you know if your numbers are any good? Let's put some stakes in the ground and look at some real-world benchmarks for a healthy, sticky product. First up, let's talk retention. After a whole month, are people still hanging around? A really strong product should be aiming to keep more than 40% of its users coming back. Hitting that number is a massive sign that you're providing value that lasts way beyond that initial, ooh, shiny moment. Next, let's circle back to that DAU to MAU ratio. The benchmark for a product that's truly become a daily habit is over 20%. Think about that. It means on any given day, at least a fifth of your entire monthly user base is jumping in. That's what a daily habit looks like in the data.
And finally, the repeat visit rate. This one is simple but tells you so much. You want more than half of your users to come back a second time. It basically means their first impression was good enough to make them think, I need to check that out again.
So go ahead, take a second, and really think about it. How does your product stack up? Are you hitting these targets? Close? Far away? Just knowing where you stand is the absolute first step to making things better.
And that brings us to our final section, where we turn all this insight into action. Because knowing your numbers is great, but what really matters is having a clear plan to improve them.
Look, there's no need to overcomplicate this. It boils down to a simple, powerful framework. Step 1, figure out what your best, most loyal users are doing. What are those magic actions? Step 2, double down on the core features that drive that behavior. Make your best stuff even more awesome. And step 3, use smart communication, emails, in-app nudges, to guide more users toward those aha moments.
And so we end where we began, with the one question that matters most. Because all of these metrics, all this analysis, it's all pointing to one thing: product market fit. When your users don't just try your product, but make it an inseparable part of their routine, that's when you know you found it. That consistent repeat engagement, well, that's the clearest signal you'll ever get that you've built something that people truly need.